Right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash. That belongs to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out with truth and sincerity. This is another episode of the series, The Secret Council. Okay, and this one is going to be dealing with the Hegelian dialectic. All right, and I'm with the brother Zakar. Okay, this is the brother Sayan Apash. Okay, and we're of the GMS Montreal camp. Without any further ado, go ahead, Zakar, and read that. Say what you got to say.
Okay. All right. So this is an article going into the definition of Hegelian dialectic. Okay. So it reads here: the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. Okay. It says here, to better understand the NWO strategy behind the crises we experience, it is important you first understand problem, reaction, solution, or the Hegelian dialectic from the German philosopher. It says, and that philosopher is Hegel. Okay, it says it is stated by Heinrich Moritz Calibus as comprising three dialectical stages of development: a thesis giving rise to its reaction, an antithesis which contradicts or negates the thesis, and the tension between the two being resolved by means of a synthesis.
Right. So now let's look up this word thesis.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, keep that page up there. I'll look it up here. My side.
Okay, so this is the word thesis.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it says here in dictionary.com, Cambridge, the second definition says the main idea, opinion or theory of a person, group, piece of writing, or speech.
Right. Okay. So the main idea, meaning the event, right, that they orchestrate, right? Now we can look up the words. As a matter of fact, go back to the article. I'm gonna look up the word synthesis on my side. Go back to the article.
Okay.
Because this thing is buffering and acting, moving slow on your side with the page. So the word synthesis, right, says the combination of ideas to form a theory or system. Okay. So it's the combination of ideas. That's what thesis is, the combination of ideas. Let's look up the word antithesis. Antithesis, a person or thing that is the direct opposite of someone or something else. Okay. So there's the cause, the reaction, and the solution. The solution would be the synthesis. Is when you look at the cause and the reaction and you come to a particular idea, right? That creates a solution. Okay, which they already have the solution in place. All right. They have the thesis, they know the antithesis, and they understand the synthesis, which is the solution. All right. Go ahead. Let's go back to the article.
All right, so it says here, David Icke explains the manipulation technique he calls problem reaction solution. First, the problem is created and designed to elicit a certain reaction out of the public. Then the people demand something to be done about the problem and willingly accept the pre-planned NWO solution, a solution that always involves action or legislation that never would have passed under normal circumstances.
Let me read this scripture real quick. This is Micah 2 in verse 1. Hey, shalom, the brother required. on the comment board. Shalom, brother. Okay, it says, woe to oppressors, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. So they think about these things, right? Upon their beds, early, okay, diligently, right? And before it's even past, they think about these things, okay? And when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, right? So then later on, they're able to enact it because they have the power, okay? And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Okay, how do you think they got America? How do you think they got Canada? How do you think they got Australia? How do you think they got the planet? Because really Esau has the control of the planet Earth. Okay, all of Africa, they're being oppressed and taken advantage of. How did he get that? Because he coveted fields, and he took it by violence, but he did it through subtle means. Okay, he did it through subtle means, by plans that he devised, and then he wrote certain things into law, right? Because he came with a problem. Oh, you guys have a problem, and then he came with a solution. Okay, did he not do that in Haiti? Is he not doing that in Haiti as we speak? Let's get Isaiah.
Yeah,
you can speak, brother.
I got it here.
Okay, go ahead.
Isaiah 10.
Yeah, come.
This is Isaiah 10:1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed."
Yeah, and the word prescribed means to write down before. So this is already pre-planned. They made this plan upon their beds, and then they executed it. Okay, it's prescribed. Okay, they created the problem, right? And they understood what the reaction would be. And then they came with the solution or the synthesis. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, "To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless."
And we're going to go into how they took away your rights through these different problems. Okay. We're going to go into particular events that happened. Well, a particular event that happened that changed the world. Okay. That changed the world and took away many rights, right? Something that they wouldn't be able to do without that problem first arising. Okay. We'll go back to the article, but first let's read the brother requires precept. This is Psalms 55:2, and it reads, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." And this is how Esau is, right? We have the example of Herod, right? When he was going to go, "Oh, I want to worship Yahweh Shai. I want to worship the Messiah." Right? But what did he want to do? He wanted to put him to death. Okay. We have examples of that with Haman, right? But he was doing that to the Persians. But nonetheless, it's an example of his wickedness. He came with sweet words to the Persian king Xerxes. But what was his whole plan? To overthrow the Persian Empire. See? So you can't trust these devils, man. All right?
No.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so the scripture says, "Never trust thine enemy." So as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So reading on, it says a solution that always involves actions or legislation that never would have passed under normal circumstances. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Never would have passed under normal circumstances. And this is what we're going to get into. So, and these are things that are getting ready to come again, right? There's things that are getting ready to come far worse than what you've seen to bring about even greater solution and farther reach. Okay. How do you think they're going to implement the MOTB, man? It said he causeth all. How is he going to cause all, man? Matter of fact, let's go to
As Revelation 13. Okay, this is Revelation 13.
Let's
And
start at verse 11.
okay, let's start at verse 11. It says here, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and it had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
Yeah, he had the two horns like a lamb that represents this political system, the Democrat, liberal, conservative, Republican. Okay.
Mhm.
It's all a big game, but it's on the same beast. Go ahead.
Right. Right. It's just it's an illusion because the elites they control both sides. You know, just like they control they say communism and capitalism, they control both sides. They
Right.
control the Democratic Party and the conservative, or here is the liberal. Well, actually, it's the Republican in America. It's the Democrats and the Republican. Here will be the liberal and the conservative. You know.
Right. Now there's many different parties. Okay.
Yeah.
There's many different. There's not
Right.
just
Right.
one party. There's multiple parties, but you only know of two parties. Okay, because
Right.
those are the two parties that they want you to focus on. Okay, and they're known as the two
Right.
major parties. Okay,
Right.
go ahead. Which is the Democrat Republican, but there's the Green Party. You know, there's other parties out there that never get any
Yep.
type of shine, and they never even come close to winning. At the end, when you see the polls,
Right.
you only see two: the Republican
Yeah.
candidate and the Democratic candidate, and that's by design. Those are the two
Yeah.
opposing forces. Okay,
Mhm.
go ahead, bro. You want to say something?
Uh, well, that's like I said. It's an illusion. Okay, they want you to choose between those both parties. Well, they already have prescribed who is going to win. So I read
Well,
11 again. It
matter of
says,
fact, I want to read this real quick. It says
okay,
the two-party system and the two major parties. The electoral system in the U.S. is called a two-party system. That means two parties dominate the political field in all three levels of government. In the U.S., these two parties are the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. Other parties, often generally termed third parties, in the U.S. include the Green Party, Libertarians, Constitution Party, and Natural Law Party. So why don't these guys get any shine? Constitution Party, that sounds good. It sounds like they're for the Constitution, but it's irrelevant because that's not what the elites want to be out there. They want two parties out there. They want the two main parties, the two opposing forces, the Republican and the Democratic Party. Okay, which that goes into the prophecy, the two horns. That's why there's two major parties.
mhm.
Okay, so Lakia, go ahead.
Yep. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
Yep, the dragon deals with what? The
Verse.
draconian measures.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to
Yeah.
be able to pass those draconian measures through what we're talking about, the Hegelian dialectic. Otherwise, people would be super rebellious. Go ahead.
Yep. That's why it says only under normal circumstances these things wouldn't be.
That's right.
Verse 12, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
Right. We know the first beast was the Roman Empire, which was revived during the Renaissance period. Go ahead.
Verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Mm-hmm. You know, with his technology, his missiles, his fighter jets, and so on and so forth. Right. He was able to make fire come down from heaven. Okay. Big boy, little boy, you know. Go ahead.
Big little man, yeah.
Oh, big boy, little
verse
man.
14,
Okay. Go ahead.
and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image of the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live.
Yeah. It said he deceived them.
Power,
right? So he didn't get the power, straight up. You know, he did it in darkness. You know, by deception. Okay, he was able to say, let's make an image into an image into the beast. Okay, meaning they're going to. This is Rome 2.0, and Rome was all about oppression. Okay, go ahead.
It says here, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Yeah, and how are they going to get to that level of if you don't worship the image of the beast, you're going to be killed? There has to be some major events. Okay, because you can't say that now. If you don't believe in the system, we're just going to put you to death. Just nothing is happening. No, there got to be some major T attacks. There got to be some major threats, right? So they can demonize people, man. Right? Going back to the what's that? The Project Megiddo. They got a list of people that are potential threats, to America, right? So, the Hebrew Israelites are in that. So, but they need particular events to pop off before they can justify them doing certain things, right? So there's going to be something called domestic terrorism. Okay, these things are in the work. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Shalom to the brother GMS and his likeness. Shalom. Go ahead.
Shalom. And the image of the beast is his NWO, this infrastructure that he's setting up, putting in place. And like you said, the system, it says they understand that the roadblock that they have to overcome, which is freedom of speech, that can't be in his new world, in his NWO. The prophets, like you said, it can't be in his NWO. So he's gonna have to implement certain measures to take us off the streets, man.
Yep. And ultimately off the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? The scriptures say that he was wroth with the woman, man, and made war with the remnant of her seed, man. So he's going to make war against the elect, okay? Because, like the brother said, there's no room for us and people like us in their new system that they're trying to set up. So they have to set up certain events. Going back to the Hegelian dialectic, which is going to give them the justification, right, to go in and take out who they want to take out, right, because of potential threats and whatever the case may be. Go ahead. Oh, you gotta share that again, bro. I don't know, it came off the screen. It was a car. Oh, it was a car like he fell off. Okay, bear with us, Akim. All right, the car's coming back. I don't know what's going on with his computer right now. All right. But that's the point, right? They're setting up particular events so that they can pass these particular laws. Like we read, he passes unrighteous decrees, man. All right. Matter of fact, let me get this. Okay, brother's calling me. It says this is Daniel's 8:25, which this is dealing with Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth. This is not dealing with these people today. Specifically, is dealing with Antiochus the fourth, or Antiochus the fourth. But this is the mindset of them, these elites today. It's the same mindset. It's the same people. Most likely Antiochus is back here now, right? This is Daniel's 8:25. It says, and through his policy, also, which policy, his laws, so on and so forth, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. right? He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Okay, that's like I said, that was Antiochus when he came up against the temple. But through peace, they're going to destroy many again. Okay, scripture say when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall fall upon them. They're going to offer you peace of mind. Oh, based upon these T attacks, these different of these whatever EMP attacks, of that nature, right? Of that nature to right, Salakia, anything of that nature to offer you peace afterwards. To say, listen, we got to do such and such and such. So in order to have peace, in order to get back to normality, and that's what these people were begging for during the C-19. They were begging for normality. Okay, that's what they were begging for. Okay, so that they could be feel safe. But through that, that's where he's going to bring in what all these draconian laws. Okay, and the brother had a few articles. Brother's like he's having trouble with his computer or something along those lines. Okay, seems like he's here now. Let's add to stage. Okay, I couldn't see you on the other one because I guess I gave myself I took myself off of what you call it, the controller of this thing. Salakia, hold on. Did you share the other one, brother? The screen? Okay, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So Salakia, look, I didn't even know you were back there. I thought you were still trying to figure it out. But anyways, like I said, through the peace, he's going to destroy many. Okay, he's going to destroy many through the peace. Okay, through the offering of peace and getting back to normality, man. Right? Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so back to Revelation 13.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Revelation 13 and verse 16. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Right. So that mark, we know, goes back to Pharagma. We go through that over and over and over again, man. Okay. So he's going to cause all, which is everybody on the planet. He's trying to get to take this, man. So how is he going to possibly have everyone on the planet take this if a good portion of the people are against it? Right? Maybe even the majority. At this particular point in time, the majority, I would say. Right? Why would you just want to have to put a C-hip inside you? Okay? So if that's the case, then he has to bring something to happen that's going to make it make it mandatory and also offer them peace. You see? Is there more on that article there?
Yeah, it's a little bit more. Okay. It says here, it works like this. The manipulating body, which we know is the elites. Okay. It says the manipulating body covertly creates a problem and then directs the media to incessantly focus on it without recourse, because the media is in their hands. Okay, they control the media. Okay, the press, the news. Okay,
newspapers.
It says the problem. The newspapers. It says here the problem could be anything: a war, a financial collapse, a rash of child abductions, or a terror attack. It says the power of the media can create the false perception that a big problem exists, even if it doesn't. Once you have created this problem, you make sure that an individual, a group, or an aspect of society is blamed. This then rallies the population behind the desperate lunge for a solution to the problem. Something must be done, they cry in unison. The people that created the problem in the first place then come back in and offer the solution that the people demand. Remember, the people screaming for a solution do not know that the problem was artificially created in the first place.
Artificially.
Oh, it's lucky. Artificially created in the first place. The water. The solution to the problem is always a further curtailment of freedom. Wow. The solution to the problem is always a further curtailment of freedom
And let's look up this word
and an advancement.
curtailment. Let's look up the word
Yeah,
curtailment. I'll look it up here on this
okay.
side. Um,
I looked it up. Okay,
you
so
looked it up already?
yeah, I have it
Oh,
here.
bring it up.
Okay, curtailment it says the action or fact of reducing or restricting something.
Yeah. So restricting what? Your freedoms. Okay. And we're gonna show you, some of these examples with, I'm gonna show you an example with one particular event, right? The last major event to happen in this modern era, man. Okay.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
The
And
solution of
like
the
we said,
problem is
there's
always
gonna
a
be more. There's gonna be more. There's gonna be other major events. Okay. Because in order for them to do this plan that they have, in order for them to accomplish it, they need major events.
that's
Go
right.
ahead, Salaki.
It says yeah, it says the solution to the problem is always a further curtailment of freedom and an advancement of one or more aspects of the individual agenda, whether that is geopolitical expansion, news laws, or the implementation of new societal worldviews. Okay. So it says here, it says the problem reaction solution paradigm, the government creates or exploits a problem, blaming it on others, FF event. Okay. It says the people react by asking the government to help willing for excuse me, the people react by asking the government for help willing to give up their rights. The government offers the solution that was planned long before the crises.
Right. So going back, like I've been bringing up the movie, Atlas Shrugged. Right. At the end, they were
Mhm.
begging for John Galt. They were begging for which is supposed to be uh is it Nick Rothschild or Nick, I believe it's Nick Rothschild if I'm not mistaken, but they were begging for him, right? Oh, we want John Galt. We want John Galt because they wanted the solution to the problem. Okay, that he was responsible for creating. Okay, so these people are going to beg for a solution. That's how bad it's going to get. Okay, and the main solution is going to be to micro C hip the people. Man. Okay. Go ahead. There's more on that.
That's pretty much it on that. You
Okay.
know.
So we're going to go to a particular event that changes this world as you know it, man. Let's go to that article on the 911, man.
Okay.
So it mentioned the 911 right there, didn't you? You read that?
Uh, yeah, it did. It did.
Okay,
Okay,
all
so
right.
we can read that. It says here, prop. Uh, okay, so I'll start reading here. It says taking the lesson taught by Goring, George W. Bush famously said, "You're either with us or you're with the terror."
Mm-hmm.
It says here, propagandists in the U.S. government use the Hegelian dialectic and the 911 attacks to justify its war on terrorism, wage war in Afghanistan and Iraq, and to convince the American people to give up their rights for their supposed safety.
That's it. So they gave up their rights, right? That's where they
Yeah,
passed what act? The Patriot Act,
yeah,
okay, which was a major shift in freedom, man. Okay, but the people were accepted it. Why? Because of the major event. Okay. Okay. Let's read that.
Can I read this real quick?
Uh,
Okay, it says the Patriot Act was enacted following the September 11 attacks and the 2001 Anthrax attacks with the stated goal of tightening U.S. national security, particularly as it related to foreign terrorism. In general, the act included three main provisions: expanded surveillance abilities of law enforcement, including by tapping domestic and internal phones.
mhm. Yeah. So they were able to tap into your phone. That was a major concern back then. Oh, they're able to tap into your, yeah. Now they can listen to your conversations. See, what you think if they would even say that before that event, people would have been in a complete uproar, man. But because of that event, which is called the Patriot Act, which means what? If you don't support this, you're not a patriot, which is pulling on the heartstrings. This is for the country. True patriot would be, this is for the security of the
Right.
American people. That's why they called it the Patriot Act, man.
Mhm.
They didn't call it the phone tapping act. They called it the Patriot Act, man. They wanted to get pull on the heartstrings of the people, man. Go ahead.
Right. It's all deception. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay. It says here, this is from justice.gov, the United States Department of Justice Archives. Legal changes to enhance counterterrorism efforts. The USA Patriot Act of 2001 and the USA Patriot Act Improvement and Reauthorization Act of 2005. Foreign
Well, hold on.
Intelligence
Did
Surveillance
you finish
Act.
the other one? The other one had more definition on the Patriot Act, didn't it? You didn't finish the other definitions.
Oh, you can't. Okay, can't. Okay, so back to Wikipedia. It says here. So the second goal was easier interagency communication to allow federal agencies to more effectively use all available resources in counterterrorism efforts,
Mm-hmm.
and increased penalties for terrorism crimes and an expanded list of activities which would qualify for terrorism charges.
Which what they deem terrorism, can change, and it is going to change, right? Which they're going to have a broad spectrum, right? Even now they have a broad spectrum on it. So and the different things that they were able to do was, for example, remember Guantanamo Bay? Remember they always used to speak about Guantanamo Bay and the
Right.
waterboarding and the different things they used to be doing to these so-called terrorists, right? So
Yeah,
that's the torture methods, man. Before that,
yeah,
torture. This is America. It can't be torturing people. Okay. But after this, it's like, yeah, well, if they're terrorists, look at what these monsters did. We got to bring this back to make sure that they never do this again. Okay.
mhm.
To instill fear in them, right? But guess what? That's going to turn to you American people, you Canadian people, you different people of this beast system, man. Because that was all a gradualism, man. Okay, don't forget there's such thing as domestic terrorism, meaning what people that are citizens, people that live in this particular country can be deemed as terrorists or terrorists. Excuse me, Salah. Shouldn't even be saying that word. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. It says here the law is extremely controversial due to its authorization of indefinite detention without trial of immigrants and yeah,
Well, Scripture says
and
shall be put in prison 10 days. Let's get that. Let's get that real quick.
mhm. Okay.
Revelation 2, verse 10, and it reads, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Now the devil is dealing with these Edomites, man. that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Which some brothers will be locked up, and who knows how long. They have these particular acts they passed after 9/11 gave them the authority to put you in prison indefinitely, man, after the 9/11 event. You see what I'm saying? So this was all gradualism. Now we're coming to the time they're getting ready to use this upon so-called citizens, man. But you see what's happening with the migrants,
Yeah,
man.
so there's gonna be.
You see what's happening with
Yeah,
the migrants.
that's
The
it.
migrants they're doing. Hey, they're set up, man. Okay, go ahead,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, they're part of creating the chaos, you know, and they're using the media to paint a bad image of the migrants, you know, which you definitely got some wild ones out there, you know, but so there's gonna be more Guantanamo Bay, more detention camps, you know, and they're gonna justify putting those that are creating that are part of the chaos into these detention camps, you know, and even those that are against his system, you know.
That's right. That's right. All right. So
So that's pretty much it on that. We could
that's pretty much on
move
that.
up
Yeah,
to
I mean,
the
the
next
ones that
article.
I gave was pretty much the one dealing with the it's pretty much the same. So which one is this one? It's another one?
No, this is the Patriot Act,
It's the one that I sent you?
and then there's another. Yep,
Yeah, the other one was with the
and
Canadian
then
one,
there's the
right?
one in yep.
Yeah, that you could read that one to show you that it wasn't just Babylon that was affected by it. Okay? Because this event affected the whole planet Earth. That's how major that event was, which C-19 affected the whole planet Earth. You understand? Okay? But guess what? The next event is gonna affect the next major event is gonna affect the whole planet Earth as well. All right? Go ahead.
Okay, it says here, the government of Canada's response to the terrorist attacks of 9/11. On September 11, 2001, terrorist acts in New York, Virginia, and Pennsylvania claimed thousands of lives, including those of 24 Canadians. These events have profoundly impacted Canadians and remind us that we are not immune from terrorism. The memory of the victims of terrorism and the pain of their families strengthen our resolve to fight criminals and terrorists at home and abroad and to stand up proudly for the principles that bind us: freedom, democracy, rule of law, and human rights. Our goal is to continue to build the resilience of our society and all communities to all forms of violent coercion. Since 2001, the Government of Canada has taken decisive action to address the evolving threat of terrorism, both within and beyond Canadian borders, through legislative changes, targeted programming, criminal investigations, and other initiatives. For examples, we created the Canadian Air Transport Security Authority. It says the federal crown corporation responsible for screening passengers and baggage. We also strengthened aviation, marine, and rail security in Canada, including through more rigorous screening for port and airport employees, enhancements to technology, and improved security
Yeah,
procedures.
that's why they can do random checks on you. All right. They just, you got to go through these particular detectors, and they could do what they basically their power is overreaching, man. You can see that in these airports, man. You got certain people, airport cops take advantage of that, and they be robbing people's money. I was just watching a documentary on that, man. That's just taking Jake's money, man. They got cash on it, they'll just take it, they'll seize it, So that's bringing in tyranny, man. Go ahead.
broaden the level of information sharing among the agencies involved in detecting terrorist financing. For example, we increased the ability of the Canada Revenue Agency (CRA) to provide designated charity information to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Canadian Security Intelligence Services, and financial transactions and reports
Yeah,
analysis of sender
jump to the
funds.
next one. Jump to the next one. See what the next one says.
It says here, created the Canada Border Services Agency to provide integrated border services that support national security and public safety priorities and facilitate the free flow of persons and goods. The agency increased the use of advanced information on goods and travelers heading to Canada and enhanced information sharing and cooperation in national and international partners, automated risk assessment tools, trusted travelers,
Mhm.
and trader programs,
So
and
now they could
initiated the gradual.
now Salakia, that's an invading of your privacy now, right? That's a further invadement of your privacy. They could know exactly what you're bringing in, how much you're bringing in, you know, what you're doing, where you're going, you know, what do you eat for breakfast, right? Which, you know, before that event, there was you know, you have more privacy, man. You see? And what's the CHIP about? The CHIP is about you not having no privacy, them knowing all and controlling all, man. So this is leading to that, man. This is what these things are doing. They're leading further, more and more to that, man. Right? Even with the C-19, what they gave WHO all this power, and wait a minute, they're not government entity. They're not a government entity, right? That's not our government. Why would they be having all this power, man? You see, to inoculate who they want to inoculate and all these different things. So this is what we mean when we speak about the Hegelian dialectic, man. Okay.
Yeah. It also it also said during the C-19 there was in the news they said they were studying people's patterns, you know, studying your every move, man. So that gave them an occasion to know more about the citizens,
right.
you know.
Right. So
Okay, it says there's more.
go ahead.
It says created a mechanism to publicly identify groups or individuals who are associated with terrorism and listed 44 such groups as terrorist entities under the criminal code. The listing
That's it.
process is an
So they're
important
looking, like you said, they're looking at your patterns, right, to see if you could possibly be part of these groups. You see what you look up what you look up online. You know. Go ahead.
Yeah. And it was when we talked about earlier, we read about the Canada Revenue Agency, how they're sharing, money transfers, for instance. Basically they're going into your accounts.
Right.
They're sharing that information to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it showed you that even with the that whole truckers thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They were able to go into people's accounts and take out what they want to take out. I just want to read the scripture real quick. This is Isaiah 29:20. It says, "For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off." And this is what Esau is doing. He's watching for iniquity. Oh, they might be connected because of this and that. Look at what they're looking up. So he's watching for iniquity, meaning he's watching for transgression against his law, not against the Most High's law, against his law. It says that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, which is the prophets. Okay. This is all a snare ultimately leading to the zeroing in on the prophets and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Okay. So go ahead.
All right. So next we have this uh, this video, which is really a documentary called "The Capitalist Conspiracy."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, American media, 1969. Okay, we're just gonna play a couple minutes of it, because it basically goes into their wisdom which is the Hegelian dialectic: pressure from above, pressure from below. Okay, so we're gonna play a few minutes of it.
Oh, hold on. Let me just read this brother's
Okay.
scripture real quick. This is the brother reply. It says Second Thessalonians 2:4 says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, shewing himself that he is the Most High. Yeah, they envy the power of the Most High. That's why they want to know everything and control everything. But
referred to those in the international power structure as capitalists. But these men are not really capitalists in the classical sense. They are merely rich socialists. They have gained their vast wealth not through honest competition and free enterprise, but by political influence and favoritism, the granting of government protection to eliminate competition, and by gigantic fraud of the money system, backed by government force. These men are striving to create a world superstate, with the expectation that from behind the scenes, they will be the ones who will rule. Not free enterprise capitalism, but big government is the conspiracy's life force. World government is its ultimate goal. But what is the best way to sell big government and then world government to a people like ours, historically devoted to an independent republic of limited powers? The answer is simple. In revolutionary literature, the tactic is known as pressure from above and below. It's the strategy that Colonel House laid down in his book, Philip Drew, Administrator. Deliberately create problems, and then offer only those solutions that result in the expansion of government. Create conditions so frightful at home and abroad that the abandonment of personal liberties and national sovereignty will appear as a reasonable price for a return to domestic tranquility and world peace. If those who seek world dominion can stimulate leftist mobs into violent confrontation with local law enforcement, and also provide exhaustive news coverage so that the entire nation can see and tremble, then the peaceful and freedom-loving majority can be programmed to accept a vast expansion of government powers and even a national police force, offered supposedly to end the violence. If those who seek world dominion,
Which they find as both sides. They always find as both sides, you know?
can raise the specter of an enemy armed to the teeth with superior atomic weapons on the verge of launching a nuclear holocaust, and also offer world government as the prevention, then millions of Americans can be programmed to accept the loss of national sovereignty as our last best hope for peace. This is the meaning of pressure from above and below for peace, the loss of national sovereignty as our last best hope.
And it reads here, it says here, this is one alternative of the United Nations. And I believe the WHO is part of the United Nations, correct?
Well, the WHO isn't as a separate entity than the United Nations. You mean that they work hand in hand with the United Nations? You mean?
Gone.
Well, they definitely do. But I'm gonna look it up right now. Who? Of course, they work together.
It says it is part of the United Nations.
It's part of it?
Yeah. It says here, the World Health Organization is a specialized agency of the United Nations responsible for international health.
I didn't know that.
See, so it's part of that same entity. But it reads here. It reads here, this is one alternative to the United Nations. The UN is not perfect, but it is our one best hope. Below are facts about its work that you should know. Yeah. Read what the UN does to help prevent global war, which goes into, having a one world government. Let me play this again.
A vast expansion of government powers and even a national police force, offered supposedly to end the violence. If those who seek world dominion can raise the specter of an enemy armed to the teeth with superior atomic weapons on the verge of launching a nuclear holocaust, and also offer world government as the prevention, then millions of Americans can be programmed to accept the loss of national sovereignty as our last best hope for peace. This is the meaning of pressure from above and below. To put over police state measures at home, they need chaos, crime, and anarchy in the streets. To sell the idea of world government, they need the constant threat of nuclear war. Or, as they say in revolutionary circles, the real action is in the reaction. In 1968, Random House Incorporated.
I want to read this scripture real quick, though. This is Habakkuk 2 and 5, based upon what you said with dealing with the United Nations. It says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, meaning his philosophies, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So that United Nations, that's a part of him gathering all nations together under him, as, you know, the ancient Tower of Babel, man. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, so through their different, when they do their different moves, they want all nations to be a part of it, because they're trying to have world domination, as the man mentioned. You know, that's the goal. Man. And who, which is part of an entity of the UN, which I didn't know that it was actually it's an entity of the UN, right? I thought they were just working hand in hand. They're using them for that part of that goal too, because you see that with the C-19 and how much power, the WHO gathered, man, from that time. Go ahead, bro.
Published this book by James Coonan, The Strawberry Statement, Notes of a College Revolutionary. Coonan carries the usual New Left credentials and is a classic example of the extent to which a highly intelligent mind can be programmed by the establishment into thinking that it is acting against the establishment. Coonan was one of the leading participants in the first student seizure of an American university, which occurred at Columbia in April of 1968. Initially, the movement was not large and easily could have been stopped by a simple police action. But as usual, the anti-establishment forces received their greatest help from the establishment itself. For several days, police were told not to interfere. Meanwhile, university officials groveled in the face of outrageous propaganda charges, and the media made national heroes of the rebelling students. MGM even made a movie out of Coonan's book. On page 130, Coonan wrote, "In the evening, I went up to the U to check out a strategy meeting. A kid was giving a report on the SDS convention. He said that at the convention, men from Business International roundtables, the meeting sponsored by Business International for their client groups and heads of government, tried to buy up a few radicals. They offered to finance our demonstrations in Chicago. We were also offered ESSO, or Rockefeller money. They want us to make a lot of radical commotion so they can look more in the center as they move to the left."
Yeah. So, like you saw, during different protests, they'll set up, how we saw, they had bricks laid up, what do you call these guys?
For agent provocateurs.
Guys that create commotion.
Agent
provocateurs. That's right. So the agent provocateurs themselves are even financed by the elites. They want them to add on to the chaos, and so that they can present the solution.
Yeah. So they started to. You've seen that also in this UK thing. They started based upon that UK thing, right? Which had agent provocateurs. There was a video of a particular agent provocateur nodding. The police are nodding at him. The police chief or whatever he was nodding at him to do what he has to do. Okay. So you can clearly see that they could communicate the Spirit had that being caught on video to expose these devils. But
Mhm.
through that particular event with that whole, what you would call a particular race riot, if you will, they were able to grab people up based upon what they were writing on the internet, man. Put them in jail, man.
Mhm.
Right? So, hey, that's them creating the problem so that they can come and start to increase their power in their tyrannical government, man. Go ahead, bro.
Mhm. Yeah, Esau's a true devil. Like he'll help you with your cause, you know, and then he'll just remove himself, you know, put you to jail, you know. Like we said, like the scripture says, never trust thine enemy, man. Okay, because he tries with his compass of God. He'll try to play God and try to manipulate both sides of the fence in order to bring on his goals, his purposes and objectives. You know.
That's right. So there's a little bit more on that. Or
No, that's pretty much it, bro. I mean,
that's
there's a
pretty
good
much it.
documentary to watch. Yeah, the capitalist conspiracy. Okay, it really goes into a different things. You know how they set up the Federal Reserve. You know, and even that. You know, even in the presenting the Federal Reserve system, they use that same wisdom of Hegelian dialectic. You know, they presented a bad option, and the Federal Reserve was another option that they presented, and eventually the people they chose the they voted for the well they set up the Federal Reserve Bank. You know, like they set it up like that was the better option for them. You know.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. So with
Good,
that,
good,
Lord willing,
good
this
documentary.
brothers are going to check that documentary out. The apostles always speak about that. Apostles and elder bishops, they've been speaking about that for many years, right? It's how we learned about it. So, Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect, and we want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Machakodash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutation, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.